These are some bits from my essay, Request for a Search and Seizure Warrant in the Matter of Mr. Richard W. Shepard's Remains. Facts establishing probable cause and or the grounds of this search. According to testimony, Dr. Nels P. Highberg, then Mr., met Mr. Richard W. Shepard on Saturday, March 20th, 1993 at the Gaslight, an adult bookstore in the 3500 block of Bel Air Boulevard in Houston, Texas. It closed in 2010. They traveled approximately 5 miles to Dr. Highberg's apartment in the 1600 block of West Main and engaged in a range of consensual sexual activities and conversation before exchanging phone numbers, at which time Mr. Shepard returned to his apartment. On Sunday, March 28, 1993, Mr. Shepard called Dr. Highberg and asked him to dinner and drinks the following Friday, April 2nd, in the Montrose district of Houston, where a range of gay bars and restaurants have been located for decades before and since. Now I'm skipping some things here. Before Dr. Highberg had moved in with Dr. Gary L. Garrison, the phone in his graduate dorm room rang. Records indicate it was early on Saturday, January 21st, 1995. It was Mr. Shepard. "I'm in the hospital," he said. "I have AIDS." Dr. Highberg knew many people who were living with AIDS and even more who had died. He was still groggy from shock and sleep, but Dr. Highberg asked about Mr. Shepard's treatment and his doctors. He asked about Mr. Shepard's family, at which point Mr. Shepard began to cry. "They've been really good to me. I was surprised, but they've been really good." Soon after the call ended, Dr. Highberg spent the day at Dr. Garrison's townhouse. Dr. Highberg, young enough to have learned how to engage in sexual activities without transferring the human immunodeficiency virus from one person to another, was not concerned about his own health. He had had sex with men who were HIV positive or had AIDS, but he had subsequently tested HIV negative himself. His concern centered on Mr. Shepard. Were the doctors actually pursuing the best treatments, even though no treatments at the time seemed truly effective? Was his family really caring for him? Did he feel loved? Did he feel alone? How long would he live? Dr. Highberg last spoke to Mr. Shepard at approximately 3:30 p.m. on Wednesday, June 7, 1995. Records show that Dr. Highberg had just turned in his last seminar paper of the quarter, an analysis of AIDS and poetry for a queer theory and literature course. He was taking the bus from campus to Dr. Garrison's home and had a 30-minute wait before his transfer would arrive. He saw a payphone and called Mr. Shepard. His mother said he was asleep, and Dr. Highberg asked her to wake him. She sighed loudly, but did so. It took a few moments for Mr. Shepard to get to the phone. He did not have much to say about his life, but asked Dr. Highberg questions about his classes, his teaching, and Dr. Garrison. Mr. Shepard stated he was happy with the details he was learning about Dr. Garrison. Dr. Highberg had to work up some courage to ask a question that had been on his mind for months. "If something happens to you," he slowly began, "would your mother know how to contact your friends?" He said, "She knows." The conversation soon ended. Testimony reveals how Dr. Highberg often thought of calling Mr. Shepard, but he would never get past looking at the phone. He felt like a nuisance. He felt like he reminded not just Mr. Shepard's mother of his past life, but also Mr. Shepard himself. Dr. Highberg felt like he was bragging when he talked about his classes, his teaching, his relationship, his future. He also felt that such topics were meaningless to someone dying of AIDS. He knew these thoughts were excuses instead of reasons. Still, neither spoke to the other